All right, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and we got to start with the charts today because there is apparently big volatility turned up. We've got a true technical breakdown for Bitcoin, as you can see here. So the question is, did you get up early enough this morning to catch it up here, or did you wake up late like just now, only to find out that you've given back most of your profit? So I hope it's the former, not the latter. This trade is now complete. That's not too bad. We'll get rid of that. And we are now officially flat Bitcoin from a trading position. Still hold a spot core position, of course, but for now trading position is closed. Let's do Ethereum next. Again, if you got up early enough, then you're able to get out here rather than down here. But either way, even if you got out just getting out now, then this is still a pretty decent trade by anyone's standards. So good 70% locked in on Ethereum, and Camel is officially flat from an Ethereum standpoint. MATIC as well, same deal. I said if we get a true trendline breakdown here, then we're out, and sure enough we did. So we can get rid of that as well, and Camel is officially flat again in terms of trading MATIC. The dollar is bid. And so if you were watching the channel, you'll know for a long time I said likely before we can truly top. I said maybe this was it, maybe this was it, but likely before we could truly top, we would need to come up and make a lower high. I said that would be the most preferable thing to see. And so it looks like we're going to possibly come up, maybe double top, maybe we sweep the liquidity up there. Depends what's on the books, doesn't it? But ultimately, I think this is the push that is going to stall. My bias would be that we form a lower high over the next couple of days. Then the dollar will roll over, and that will catalyze the next leg higher for everything else. So this is risk at the moment. This is why we're closing positions down, because if this just goes on a tear, maybe it runs 120, I think that's almost no chance of happening, but who knows, right? If it was to run 120 though, everything's going to get destroyed. So I think this is most likely a giant shakeout, but we do have to respect risk. I've been saying for the whole time we were above this trend line for all of these assets that I would be respecting these trend lines. I woke up extra early this morning to do so, so I hope you did as well. The stocks are coming off a bit. Let's take a quick look at the futures. You can see the stocks they're building momentum to the downside, and what's interesting about this is the VIX. The VIX is breaking out, as you can see here, which sort of makes sense because the futures are coming off. Every time I check back here, every 5 minutes, there's a bigger number on the Nasdaq futures. So I would say that we have got at least a short-term top in play. The VIX is breaking out, and I have longed the VIX this morning via a spread bet. So we can see that opening up 150 odd points down from here is going to be incredibly close to my line in the sand, as you can see, and it's going to be a technical breakdown. Profit has been booked this morning. If you know about spread betting, you know I can access the market nearly 24 hours a day. So I'm out of this for now. I'm more than satisfied with this gain. This was an enormous trade. So yeah, giant profit. S&P, I didn't trade this. If you're watching the channel, you'll know. But again, I would be respecting this trend line breakdown and looking to re-enter the market. I just don't think, I think the risk is to the downside. You know, I don't think for any of the equities right now that we're just going to see this tear straight up here and I'm going to be left behind saying, oh, I should have stayed long. I think first we've got to put in some level of flag consolidation, or perhaps in the worst case scenario a big dip down. So respecting risk. The UKX, the FTSE 100, I've moved this stop all the way up to here. So this is, you know, this is my line in the sand now. I don't have to do anything. The moment that level gets touched, I will close the trade, and if by some miracle we just continue to grind up, then I will trail this stop up every couple of days going forward. So that's the only equity exposure I have at the moment. I've done these two. Like I said, I am currently long volatility. I'm long the VIX because we are breaking out this trend line. I've been lining this up for all week. I flagged this nice and early. Real still being patient, so not much to report there. And Coinbase, I would expect to possibly come back into this range. So again, kind of lining this up, but I think it's time to be a bit more patient with Coinbase and possibly with Real as well. Oil, again, rolling over. I just think more downside is necessary. More patience here, but this is going to be an epic trade when I finally execute it. I'm convinced of that. So I'm going to continue to play patient, continue to preserve capital. We've got a lot of profit booked at the moment, so that is great. Gold, you know, as expected, I've been saying this, probably going to drop into a cycle low. Maybe we get some sort of bounce. Gold likes to form these sort of double bottoms. where it sweeps the first low. I'm trying to find a good example. Like here's one, so he kind of comes in and then double bottoms, or here's another one with double bottoms. So this is a really classic example of the price action. You get a bottom, small fail, and then it sweeps that low, and then it goes. So that's kind of what I'd like to see in the best case scenario. So a little bounce, and then sweep that low, and then go. And I think that becomes a long, or an add. I'm already long, as you can see. So that's the strategy for gold, adding on dips if I can where appropriate. Silver as well, adding on dips when I see a bounce. I will flag this on the channel. If you want to see how I deal with this in real time, make sure you have subscribed and turn the notifications on. Silver miners, I will be adding to this position because I have no doubt that if we can form a decent little bottom and then go, this is going to take out that local high very quick. So I'm happy to get up to full exposure, full maximum exposure relative to my total risk. We've done the cryptos, so that's that. So I think it's important to mention, because I think there's a possibility here that is going to cause a lot of pain, and that is that this turns out to be some sort of scam wick, and then we just wake up tomorrow or the next day or the weekend, pump, takes it back above here, and then starts grinding. But I want to emphasize something here, and I think Ethereum demonstrates it better just because there's more profit on the Ethereum trade. Let's say this comes all the way down here, and then I wake up tomorrow morning and we've recovered this trend line. Am I going to be FOMOing back in? No. Am I going to be saying to myself, oh, we've recovered the trend line, time to re-enter? No. The trade was a great trade, and it was called from the cycle low, ridden all the way up here for 70-odd% profit. Okay, exited on a technical breakdown, which is a mechanical exit system. No way I would have been able to stay in this trade as long as I did if I was just using my gut feeling. So it's important to have these trend lines to respect the risk. I don't want to go messing this thing up now by getting FOMO. Oh, it's recovered the trend line if it was to do that. I don't want to do that, okay? I'm going to take a step back, enjoy the fact I've booked profit, wait for a position, wait for a setup of my choosing. I'm not going to go chasing longs. Even if I wake up tomorrow morning, let's say this continues down or whatever, and I think, oh cool, I'm gonna buy down here, and then I wake up tomorrow morning and it's all the way back up here. Okay, a lot of people would feel pain from that, would think, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done it, I knew I shouldn't have exited on the scam wick. Scam wicks happen. Okay, the important thing is to get in near the bottom and out near the top. Even if you wake up tomorrow and it's all the way up here, we've still captured the bulk of the move using this mechanical system with no emotion. So it's important to always respect this. There's nothing to say in the best case scenario, don't wake up tomorrow and it's down here, because then we can look to line up another one of these big trend line breakouts and take it all the way back, okay, with double, triple, quadruple the amount of ETH that we originally had here, just using the profits. So make sure you respect the risk. Make sure you don't go FOMOing back in. The worst case scenario here is, we wake up tomorrow and we're back up here, but that's fine, because then the trade will look something like this, okay, when we get a true trend line break from this big downward sloping trend. So there's always plenty of time to re-enter. So for now, just going to enjoy the fact that we've booked some profit, happy days across the board, and hopefully the VIX can produce some profit for us whilst the markets cool off. Again, the only position open other than the VIX, which I've just opened, is the UKX, and I have this stop now up here, so I don't have to do anything. This is the trade, massive profit captured no matter what happens. Of course I have gold looking to add, but I'm not at all worried about this, because gold is going to do gold things, and if it doesn't, then we just let the stop do the worrying for us. So that's the chart update for you. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if there's any comments or questions or anything like that. The important thing to do here is to accept, I think, at least from my perspective, that I have no idea what's going to happen next. There's this scenario on the table that everyone's scared of, this one, like, are we about to repeat 2008? Are we about to sweep this low and drop 50% from here? Maybe. And if that's to happen, then the VIX position is going to spike and we'll be able to profit from that. But there's also the possibility that this is a crowded trade and that we get this sort of normal pullback, a drop into a daily cycle low, and then the equities go. So we have to be open and unbiased. You can have your suspicions, you can have your expectations, but you mustn't be dogmatic in your approach. You must make sure that you understand that you have no idea what's going to happen, just like I don't have any idea what's going to happen, and we're just going to let the charts tell us how to stay on the right side of the market. In hindsight, this kind of made sense. The longs for Bitcoin were stacked on Binance and the shorts weren't, so the Max Payne situation was to liquidate all those longs, and that might explain why Bitcoin has had such a large sort of drawdown straight from this trendline break. The Bitfinex whales have been wiped out in Bitcoin's last capitulation, as you can see. So the open interest has dropped 70% in the last 2 months. So we could well be seeing the longs getting taken out, then the shorts getting taken out, and then maybe we can go. We'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on this. Crypto Rover points out, is this another fake out? Well, it certainly looks like it at the moment, doesn't it? But it really depends on whether or not we take out the lows. A lot of people think we're going to get 12 to 14k Bitcoin, and maybe we will. But I think the real traders amongst us know that nobody knows whether we're going to take this low out or not. So that remains to be seen. The number of unique addresses is going parabolic for Bitcoin. And so Game of Trade says this could set the stage for a bull run. But this is actually quite unusual. This is quite unusual behavior. So as you can see, the last time we got a real parabolic rise, it sort of coincided with the top. So I'm not sure what to make of this. On the one hand, maybe this is what you'd expect. Well, not maybe. This is what you would expect from a network that is growing, such as Bitcoin's. The number of unique addresses is going to continue to rise as more people join the network. But, you know, the last time we saw this was a retail FOMO phase, and that did lead to enormous downside. So potentially this is what we're looking at, but also potentially it's nothing like this, and we're just seeing the Bitcoin network grow. Summer doldrums. These 2 weeks of the summer are notoriously flat in the markets, and is this the calm before the storm? September, October are notoriously volatile. So we'll see how this progresses. Is this the calm before the storm, or are we just about to make a big leg down? I think quite possibly we could upset a lot of people here by getting quite a deep pullback, making everyone expect this scenario, but then we only make it down here and then bounce. I think that would be the max pain, because most people do not believe in this rally. So we'll see how that goes, but you know, I've already covered the charts and everything like that, how I'm dealing with it. Contrary to popular belief, the Fed does not want to blow up the markets. So let me just say this again, because this is really important. Contrary to popular belief, the Fed does not want to blow up the markets. Now, I personally believe eventually they will, but I just don't think they're there yet. The reason for that is I think they're going to blow them up so that they can justify the rollout of CBDCs, but I happen to know they're not ready. They've already told us that they're not going to be ready until 2024 into 2025, and that's when we'll see the true rollout of these. So I do think there's more gas in this goose yet. Is that a saying? Did I just make that up? Blowing up the markets would only hasten the inevitable move to further balance sheet expansion and hyperinflation. Moving forward, it is going to be in their interest to let inflation continue to run hot. So let me say that again as well. Moving forward, it's going to be in their best interest to let inflation continue to run hot. This is for multiple reasons. Okay, one, they've got too much debt. The only way to service it is to let inflation run hot. And two, how do you justify the rollout of CBDCs if everyone's got plenty of money? Right? You need to first impoverish everyone so that they beg for these CBDCs. Nobody is going to willingly say, oh, I'll take your programmatic money that has no privacy and that you can just take away at a whim. No one's going to agree to that. Only if they're starving because they can't put meat on the table, because inflation has become so out of control that they can't do anything anymore. They can't afford to live. Only then will they beg the government for handouts. Okay, so long term, it is going to be in their interest to let inflation run hot. China is already back to easing. Russia is already back to easing, and now even Turkey is cutting rates. The globe has just begun shifting back to dovish tendencies. There's still lots of pivots left to do, still lots of pivots left to occur, and this includes the most important one here in the USA. But believe me, these pivots are coming. These pivots are coming, and possibly sooner than you think. And this is why my bias is that we're going to get a drop into a daily cycle low and possibly go again. Now, that low could occur here. It could occur all the way down here. I'm not really the sort of person that likes head and shoulders, but there is a potential head and shoulders pattern that could form there, isn't there? You get a trend line break and go. So head and shoulders not really my style, but can't argue that that would be a pretty normal base to expect if this is going to end up forming a bottom here, that then we can emerge from that base. So that's my bias. I say my bias. That's my expectation. My expectation is that we're probably going to drop down somewhere into this neighborhood, and then we're going to go. But of course, I am open to seeing a 50% drop, and I have, of course, as I've already mentioned a couple of times, hedged that volatility risk by longing the VIX. So if you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the video. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. If there's anything you want to see from me, then let me know. If you made any money out of this bounce, I'd love to know. Throw that down in the comments as well. And if not, it is Friday, so happy days. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. All the best from me. Cheers.